You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AFTERBUZZ TV's Real Housewives of New York City After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Real Housewives of New York City After Show.
I have no idea what this song is, but thank you, Lyndsey. I'm getting into it, though. I feel like it's one of those songs like you're in like a crowd, right?
It's a good crowd song, and when it builds to the like, I know once if you heard the chorus, you would know the song.
It's a very emotional. It feels like we should all be sitting here and somber and thinking.
All right, cool.
Jared Leto sings with a lot of power, and on stage, he's ridiculously. We gotta listen here, right here.
All right. Okay, well.
On that note,
Bury the hatchet. See, bury me, bury me.
Oh, yeah, okay. But this has a lot of meaning tonight. We clearly had a lot of philosophical meaning behind that. It was a deep undertone.
this girl is a thinker.
Deep-rooted undertones
Next to me,
in that
this girl
song.
is a thinker.
Always thinking. All right, well, so are these beauties, the Real Housewives of New York City's. All of them. I mean, I would say Ramona the most tonight. Bury the Hatchet, episode, what are we on, 14?
17?
17. Oh, my God.
Get with it, girl.
Wait a minute.
Jump the gun.
Really, like, we're almost done. Crazy. Okay, I'm Ashley Daniels. Who am I here with tonight?
And you're here with Stephanie McGrath, Ash.
And Lyndsey Wegner.
Wow, there's some little hotties next to me. How am I even going to focus? I can't stop looking at you. Oh, my goodness. All right.
Feelings
so,
mutual.
First part, let's get into the Ramona. She is being a little hostess. She's setting up food and wine. She is taking over this trip, and she's kind of making it her own. We see a lot of Ramona Pinot. Of course.
Yeah.
And then we see a little bit of a different thing. So we see that she set up and she did a really nice food and wine and cheese and everything. And then on a not so light note, we see that Kristen is in the next scene. She's crying in the bathroom and Carol is consoling her. Interesting, though, because Carol is somebody that I feel this entire season, she is always the peacemaker.
Yeah.
Tonight we see another peacemaker, which we didn't really expect, Ramona, at some points. But really, Carol is always there. What did you think of watching her with Kristen, and what did you think of that whole situation?
I think seeing it, and I didn't expect anything less than Carol. I think this entire season, later on the episode, some of the words again, I wrote down a couple of her one-liners that she does mention when she is talking again at the rodeo with Kristen. She's so intelligent. She just comes up with those, really thinks deep, and it's like, okay, I understand your situation. She never dismisses the other person who's come to her asking for advice or just wanting comfort. However, let's look at this in the other perspective. And that's what she always does. She just gets... She's a fantastic mediator. I think the wisest comments have always come from Carol this entire season.
And she can still play and have fun and be silly too, which
She
is
dressed
great.
up as a bear. I mean,
exactly. But I liked seeing that too because I didn't expect that from Carol because I just feel like Carol's a little bit more on maybe the other girl's sides than she would normally come to Kristen's help or check on her. So I thought that was really big of Carol to do, and like you said, she's really a great mediator, but still knows how to have fun and be silly and play and great quality.
Absolutely. And then we see and correct me if I'm skipping anything, I'm just trying to go to the most relevant, important scenes. They're packing for the glamping, and we see the actual place that they go, and it is nothing like we would expect a regular camping trip to be. It's a lot of it looked almost like there was marble in the bathroom or granite.
Oh, it's stunning. As they say, it's a luxury tent. It's pretty much, you're not really staying in a tent.
Right. Right. So, we see the 3 king beds they have to choose. There's 2 butlers that Sonia is kind of hitting on, or is hitting on, of course, which is such a surprise.
Yeah.
And we see that Ramona is not the cause of the drama. She's actually trying to mend the pieces between Heather and Kristen. It's interesting to see that because I always think, well, I've always thought throughout this season that if Ramona or Sonia were not causing the drama, that it would be a very boring season because those other girls would not fight. But clearly, I was wrong. So what did you think of that with Ramona and her trying to mend the problem? Do you think she actually really wanted to mend it, or do you think that she secretly likes watching them fight?
I think at the moment, and we all agreed to this prior to coming on air, is that it's really They're really pushing at the moment, the producers, to get something. These episodes, like last week, and we and Lyndsey agreed. I mean, they were going tooth and nail just to find some sort of drama or something. And again, I mean, we'll talk about the whole main topic or the whole main issue of this episode was really the fight between Heather and Kristen. We see it continue on through the entire episode. But, I mean, she's just trying to find something. I think some sort of drama, or I'll play a mediator because I feel like it, or I'll do something just to spice up conversation.
She's been around for 6 seasons, so producers know her best. I mean, if they've been around this whole entire time, so they can kind of give her a little bit of like, you can push this because we know you will. You'll find something to create. So I think that's the only way that they can because, we've had the same argument now for, once again, like, I feel like, we get Bookgate and then something else and then something else, and it lasts a whole 3 episodes. And it's like, we could have gotten all this in 1 episode. So
They do this a lot, even with Beverly Hills. The last 3, they had 3 reunions, and it was just stretching out information that we already had gone over so many times, and they would have been so much better off having 1 reunion that was just kick ass. It was awesome. They had everything put into that, and they made it short and sweet and left you wanting a little more versus just stretching it out.
Maria just fell off.
Sorry, Maria.
She's just working her abs there.
She's working out.
She's just doing the crunches, that's all. All right, Maria, she's just going to lie down, take a break.
Take a nap.
Yeah.
But they do this. Bravo does this. They would rather sacrifice the actual content and what we think of it to have an extra episode.
Yep.
I mean, there was just so many scenes in this that were just like, how can this not be on that deleted scenes cutting board? Come on.
It's not even stuff that I want to see on the cutting board. I don't care to see it either. Sorry.
I mean, I think during the episode I'd pick up, I was probably perhaps Team Luann and Team Heather throughout it. Like, Luann, as they were saying, so we then see Heather and Kristen and it comes up, and then Luann sticks up and it's like, no, actually, Ramona, she thinks you are being a brat. Stop talking about, the lack of hospitality and, I had to do everything. It's like, oh, give it a break.
Right.
I mean, really? And that was good. Someone needs to say it to her.
Yep. And I think it's interesting that you see Ramona later on going to Kristen's rescue.
Yeah.
But she is the first to attack her. But I just think it could be anybody. It didn't have to be Kristen. Whoever was the host that night, she just wanted to take some credit for something.
Yeah. Sure.
If Ramona does one little thing, she gives you a tissue when you sneeze, like, you have to thank her like all day long for that tissue because it's just how she is. And she doesn't mean anything by it. She just... she knows she can do a really good job hosting a party, and when she sees other people kind of not doing so good, it's like, I'm going to step in. But she wants the credit.
Yeah.
And Kristen was trying, but I mean, Kristen's idea of fun is a little different than some of the other girls' idea of fun. So.
And she also hasn't been around for all these seasons, so she's not as used to the conditions maybe that Ramona has set because she's been around, so she can kind of demand maybe a little bit more.
Right. And then we see that Ramona, they're all at dinner. So there's a dinner, the 2 butlers are there, and Heather seems a little tipsy.
Drunk Heather. That's all I can say.
Before we get there, I just have one question. What you guys thought about when Heather, right before they left for dinner, before they even looked at the rooms, when she kind of scooted Kristen aside and called her the B word? Did you think that was? Did you think that she was like Kristen said? She's like, you're kind of antagonizing me. Like she said that in her confessional, I think. Did you think that was right? I mean, they're arguing. So is that the best thing to say? What do you think?
No, I think it's fine. I think she's expressing herself, and she's, it's not like they just said they asked her one question. God only knows how many questions they asked her that she was able, that they fired her up so that when she did do that confessional and she did say that, it came out. They were like, can you believe she said this? And can you believe that happened? And then she's like, yeah, she's a bitch. And they're like, cut, that's it, got it.
No, she said it. I remember when she said it.
Oh, then you're talking about the confessional. She said
No. I was talking, Kristen in the confessional says that she felt like Heather was antagonizing her. But Heather, when they're standing in the cabin, actually like scoots by her and she says something, I can't remember the exact words, but she calls her the B word. And she goes, were you doing that? She goes, you didn't need to say that. We're still working through stuff. Like, I feel like that's just her kind of pushing your buttons. And she's like, I didn't mean it in a bad way. I meant it in like a friendly way.
Look, I'm going to have to take the ground on Heather's side. I think this entire episode with Kristen, she really pushed my button. I was fed up. I just thought all of her antics were so childish. And Heather is the more mature. She really does. She's just, okay, yes, she got drunk. She's letting loose. But she wasn't nasty about it. Kristen this episode, though, is so sensitive. And I can understand why. First time ever hosting, she's put so much pressure on her. Sort of gauge, it looks like she's the type of girl that she wants to do it really well. She puts a lot of pressure. It didn't come to go whether the ladies were complaining last week's episode. It all fell apart what she organised. And she just felt so, I think, defeated and that she wasn't getting the positive feedback from the girls. So she's so sensitive. You say anything and she's going to break down and start crying and it's like, you girls are so mean. It's like, oh, come on.
Yep.
Like, shit, really?
They're very immature, this episode especially. Yes. It's like a bunch of children. Well, speaking of children, so we see that during the dinner, we get a lot more childish antics with Ramona talking about herself, and Kristen saying that she wants Ramona to admit that she's bossy. And then the big thing is that Kristen says to Heather, you boss Jonathan around. Yeah. And that just caused a lot of controversy. Luann got really upset. Carol was upset. Do you think it's okay to, if you're close to someone, do you have the okay to be able to bring up more personal situations? And if so, is it okay to do it in front of people?
That's what I was going to say. Maybe talking about it in a private setting wouldn't be such a big deal, but bringing it up at a dinner where everyone's at, it can be just embarrassing. Like if Heather were to bring it up later and say, so Kristen and I were talking and she says that I joke, she was joking that I bossed Josh around. That's one thing, but for Kristen to say it in front of everybody, probably not the smartest. For Heather to get as upset as she was, I think she's been accused of that before, or Jonathan has said to her, you're kind of bossy.
So
and that's why it bothered her. Because we all know Heather is a little bit bossy.
Yeah.
She is.
Yeah.
So I guarantee you, her husband probably has said it to her before, and so that it's a little trigger point for her, just like all of us have trigger points. Like maybe somebody has the B word or the C word or whatever it is.
You nailed it. That's why Kristen says at the end, I think Jonathan would agree with me, because she's probably been around for their arguments. She's probably had a first glance at everything that really goes on there.
And she knows deep down inside that she is possibly, even the whole conversation, bossy isn't always a bad thing, but she takes it in a negative light. But
she's very strong-willed and definitely comes across, she could become, she's powerful. And, most men would like a little bit of submissiveness in the relationship just once in a while to feel a little more dominant. And in this case, we spoke to her, we know that she's very, the opposite of that. She's just very like, I do this. She's gun-ho for her goals. She goes and does 100 different things at once. She's always got her best friends and
her women's backs. That's
totally.
She's always got the girls' backs.
Strong woman.
Yeah.
You're not going to see her crying over something and like in the corner somewhere. She's going to be like the first to be standing up and saying, screw this. So I guess in that stance, but I don't know. I feel like they're really close, but I feel like that's like off. That's just not okay. Like, you just don't do that in front of people.
Ladies, then was she asking for it by standing up there and making, putting the whole facade, call me bossy and doing,
bossy woman number one.
Kristen is so sensitive and that kind of thing. She was just sitting there and she was just like, she just threw it at her because it really hurt her.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. I think most women are not like her. So I feel like a lot of I'm sure a lot of women can relate to her because a lot of women are like, maybe they're the breadwinners in the family, maybe they're just a strong-willed people like she is. But then there are women that are stay-at-home wives that maybe don't speak up as much and don't, you know, they don't take that role as much as the man.
Passive.
Yeah, a little more passive, exactly. So I'm sure there's a lot of women that agree with her and a lot of people that don't agree with her.
Yeah, you're going to get two sides to it.
Definitely. Definitely. So then we see that after that, Ramona goes after Kristen and helps her and kind of goes to her rescue. And she tries to comfort her by saying, well, you know, when Mario walks in a room, like, people look or people notice. And when Josh walks in a room, same thing. But Jonathan, like, not so much. And I think she even mentioned Reed. Yeah. She's like, I don't remember his name. So... I mean, I know she's coming from a good place, but at the same time, she knows that this is going to be viewed by the girls and it's going to be used on the reunion, and she's basically putting down other people's men. And what did you think of that? Do you think that was the right way to go about it?
That wasn't comforting. That was being a little snitch. Yeah, I'm sorry that was.
Yeah.
It may have made Kristen feel better temporarily.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if she was trying to make Kristen feel better, she may have
I don't
succeeded
think
in doing
her
that.
intentions were ever to help out Kristen.
Probably
It
not.
wasn't. It was always back on her reflection.
You
She
think
wanted
so?
to stir drama. Yeah, guaranteed.
Yep.
She couldn't give a
then-
toss about Kristen.
Oops. Kristen, okay, so then we see Sonia and Ramona talking about leaving for the rodeo. And Sonia needs her vitamins to poop. And it's just so important that we got that information from Sonia, as Ramona says, TMI. And the next scene, we see them they're going off to the rodeo.
Well, Kristen calls Josh, too.
Well, the conversation.
Oh, yes.
The conversation with Kristen and Josh.
Yes.
What did you think of that?
Did you not feel, again, she's just in such a fragile, sensitive state that she's like, oh, so you're now taking her side. And it's like, oh, God, no one can say anything to you at the moment, girl, without you, oh, you're being mean to me. She's in such a victim mode. She feels everybody.
But if she's,
going up on her.
but kind of like she explains later on, you know, she had so much that she was planning to make things perfect, so I can understand, like, things aren't really going the way that you
as
want
I
them
said,
to
the
go.
hostess and
But
stuff.
then you've got the housewives kind of picking on you, so you call the one person that you can count on to make you feel better, and then he takes her side too.
But is
I
that good,
get
do you
it.
think? If
Okay,
he's honest with her?
And that's what I was going to say is I do think that it's important, and even if it makes the other person unhappy, you need to be honest and be like, sweetheart, we both know that she's a type A personality and that's who she is. So you can't really be upset knowing that. So, but even though that upsets her, I think it's good to be honest. But I think at that time, maybe that was one of those moments where you go, sweetheart, I just need you to comfort me right now and be on my side. Can you just do that right now? That's what I need from you. So I think sometimes if you have that open communication, then okay, she knows that the
Well,
truth of it.
that's true.
But just hearing that comfort from the person you love when you're hearing it from 6 other girls that...
However, in Josh's past behaviour, have we ever been given any evidence to indicate that he would be the type of...
Nope.
No, complete opposite. So
she shouldn't have been looking to him for
What was
support
she-
then.
Well,
Exactly.
I think, right, and I think you know, when you're calling certain people, you know who you're calling, you know why you're calling them.
Yeah.
I know I call my mom because I want someone to agree with me, and she's gonna be like, you're so right. Oh my God,
Yeah.
you're so right, Ashley. So I'm like, oh, perfect. But then there are other people you call, and you know they're gonna tell you the truth, and it's not always the easy thing. And so
Yep.
for her, I think that she deep down knows that he's not going to agree with her. Oh, he's going to tell the truth. But she was disappointed because she was hoping it would be that he agrees with her. But she knows that he's always going to be honest regardless if that's on her side or not.
yeah.
He's a good husband, and that's what a good person would do. Someone else just wants to, I mean, you know, my mom's just like, whatever, you're right, you know. But that's not always the right thing to do. You want to always have somebody by your side that's, especially your husband who you're living with, who, like, should be your partner, you know.
Which we've talked about before. I've got
Yeah.
my own
I
opinion about their
know, I
relationship.
know. Which we see more of next week. It looks like with the prediction, with
Exactly.
the previews. So then we see that Carol is kind of avoiding conflict. She's Kristen says she's avoiding conflict because Carol tells Kristen that she shouldn't have brought up Heather's husband, and this is a case of someone else being honest with Kristen because she loves Kristen and she's a good friend. She's a real friend to Heather, and just like Josh. And so once again, it looks like Kristen's just like, come on, like another person is not agreeing with me. And I just think that deep down she knows she's wrong, but I think she doesn't want to have to admit that because it's hurtful. And I don't even think she really apologizes in the end when Heather's like, just apologize. She's like, I already did. I didn't really hear her apologize. Did you? Did she actually apologize? Or
That
was it
wasn't
like
a
beat around the
real...
bush?
She said sorry, and then
She
it
said,
kind
I'm
of just...
sorry, but then she gave a list of the reasons. kind of not excuses, but gave a list of reasons. And then usually when you do that, that's not a good thing, because then you're not really apologizing. You're trying to make yourself feel better for something you did.
It's like, here, I'm going to make myself vulnerable, and then I'm going to shut it again and get back aggressive back at you.
Right. And what was the part, correct me if I'm wrong, oh yes, okay, so the next scene, don't we see that Heather's in the bleachers and she says that the nanny sleeps over, but she gets up in the middle of the night with... So what did she mean by that?
She's saying that she's a bit of a control freak, as in, even though she's got the nanny there, but she's going to do it. It always has to be her way, or she's in control of it. I think, though, as I said, that I think Kristen has put a lot of pressure on herself. This is her first season with the ladies. This is her first time hostessing, being the host, organising. She wants it to go. She's a bit of a perfectionist. I think all models need to be. And she wants it to go perfectly. And it hasn't gone perfectly. To this, it's gone well. But to her level, it's not up there. And now I think she's just really sort of feeling, she's stressed. She just wants someone to comfort her and say, you did a fantastic job. This was a brilliant week. And no one has.
I can't really say that there's been much positivity coming from the week as a whole in general. It seems like everyone's kind of been complaining about it, and there's been bits and pieces here and there that have been good. The fly fishing seemed like fun. But even before the fly fishing started, some of the girls were complaining about that. So I just feel like there just really hasn't been all that positivity. But I did like seeing, it was a shame to see Heather saying, I'm having so much fun at the rodeo right now, but I can't tell Kristen because I'm not going to give her the satisfaction. That was so immature and childish. I want an apology before I admit that I'm going to say this is fun. Please,
I think that they know. But here's the thing. Kristen knows. They all know from previous, even this season, Kristen knows. Why book a trip to Montana? Why? You know that it's going to be boring to them. They're not going to like the camping. They're not going to like any of that. So just go all out and ship them to LA, to Beverly Hills, and put them in at the Beverly Wilshire for a week and get them spa treatments, and no one will complain.
And go to Saddle Ranch and do the Montana stuff.
Really? It's like
Heather loves it. None of the other ladies honestly really love it.
They're putting these people in awkward situations because it's not funny to watch them. Granted, I loved seeing Luann on a camel in Morocco, but we don't really, these
seeing Luann go into, a porta potty.
It's not funny. They think it could have been funny if they had more characters, more like Sonia. Yeah. But the fact is, these people really aren't that funny. They're not that. They're deeper than they are funny. So
that's why I think that's the difference with the franchise, with the New York Housewives that we've talked about. There's something about them. They're more career-focused, strong-willed women and they're not that.
Right, there's not Teresa Giudice who's a character. And
who would have freaked out about being in the porta potty.
Because these women, I think, are more genuine. They're really intelligent. Right. They are quite intelligent ladies, and I think they just don't go that low, so we can't laugh at this basic, silly human. They can't create it either.
No,
as much as they try.
No.
We've seen Sonia flant around after every boy, and now it's just boring.
Not funny anymore, and she's so forced. And Ramona used to be hilarious, but she's not that funny lately. It's just more like
drunk enough.
No, exactly.
She doesn't.
Exactly.
Have another wine. Have another turtle time.
I can see why. I think Bravo knows sometimes they make mistakes because, they're bringing back two people in Beverly Hills, which is, Camille and Adrian. So you never know. Maybe we'll see Bethany again at some point. Or maybe we'll see, I don't know.
Jill!
Oh, I would die. I love
Bethany and Jill back.
Yeah,
it will never be the same. It will never be the same, even if they came back. But, okay, so then we see that they are at the dinner, the barbecue. They're throwing Hatchet. Kristen takes Heather aside, and then this is really the last scene. This is kind of the most important, I guess, is that Kristen takes Heather aside. They argue. Heather says that she shouldn't have talked about John being controlled. And this is the part that was the most, controversial in this, is that she says, how do you think that would make John feel? And her reaction is, he would agree with me.
Yeah.
So it just shows that Kristen A is willing to go there again and not say I was wrong. So she doesn't think she was wrong at this point. And also, I think Heather's like, whoa, we're not that close. You can't say that. You can't tell me what my husband's going to feel. But at the end, it seems like they obviously make up, but it's just...
Well, Kristen says to her, she goes, I'm your friend. I should be able to say this stuff to you. I should be able to talk to you like this. And then Heather does say back to her that I love you. I would take a bullet for you any day. Just as soon as you say something like that, You just have to apologize and say, I'm sorry.
But she said she did, and I didn't hear her apologize.
And she said she's like, but I did apologize. And she's like, and then I think at that point, Heather was just so fed up with it. She's like, I accept it. I accept your apology.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
Yeah, it was kind of like,
all right.
Let's just go with it.
over
But
it.
I don't think their relationship's going to be the same.
You don't?
No, I think, she's fed up, and they said, but Heather, we know, she's like, you just don't cross family with me. That is just a no-go zone. She's done it. She just didn't stop. She kept on bringing it up, and again, to bring it up, I know Heather, it just felt like she wasn't going to let her full vent out. I think she held it and contained herself and was like, all right, girl, I've always got you. But I think she's left a little chip. Little chip on the shoulder there. She's like, Kristen, I'm going to keep my distance a little bit more from you now. I think you stepped the line and I'm not happy with that.
Well, think about even how Heather, not only with us, but just she said it on, I think she said it on Watch What Happens Live. She was asked about Kristen's relationship with Josh, and she said, she stuck up for Kristen and Josh. She's like, no, they have the balls to put their relationship out there. And so even after this was filmed, months go by, obviously they're doing well now, and obviously Heather would never just stoop low to Kristen's level to be even with her. She's only going to say what she really feels, and she was very much on Kristen and Josh's side. Yeah. And she could have thrown them under the bus very easily and said something. She didn't. So give her credit, because she's a good friend. And, at the end of the day, this is stuff that you're putting out to everybody. You're telling everybody in the world that your very close friend controls her husband. That's not something that's light.
That's
Once
what I mean.
you say
Heather's
it,
a very
can't
good.
take it
I think
back.
Kristen has stepped the line. I think Heather's never going to forget that. She will forgive. She's not going to forget it.
Yeah. You got to really think about what you say here on the show. Not this show. Well, this show too, but The Real Housewives, because it's just going to repeat forever. I mean, how many times have we watched season 1 of Real Housewives? How many times has it aired over the years? Oh my gosh. So I think that's it. You guys have anything else you wanted to add?
No, how much did you guys love seeing Carol dress up in the bear suit?
Best thing ever. $600. Come on. I hope she uses that again. Halloween or something.
Yeah, you've got to.
It was fabulous.
I don't know. What do you do with the bear suit? What else could you?
I don't know. Maybe some kinky bear sex or something. I don't know. People do weird stuff with costumes. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe she could just pawn it or whatever. Or sell it on eBay. Sell back to the
viewers, guys. Comment down below. Let us know. Does anybody have a bear suit? And what do you do with it?
I mean, I don't know. I'm so afraid to see these answers. It's probably going to be what I just said, like crazy stuff like that. Who knows?
Yeah, let's give us some. We'll create our own drama. Give us some crazy bear drama. What do you do in your bear costume, guys?
Oh my God, that'd be amazing. Imagine if someone actually posted themselves in a bear costume and sent it to us.
That's it. There you go. We want to see your bear
If you
costume.
actually did that, we could totally play it.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
We'll put you up here.
All right, let's get in some predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
I am curious to see Sonia and Aviva's meeting. I know Aviva's going to be so, what did they say about me? What did they think about me not being there? They're going to get all gossipy. And I mean, what else is Aviva there for? Other than to hear what people say about her and then react to it. So I want to see that. I'm guilty as charged. I want to see it. All right.
I read Aviva's blog because one of our viewers commented saying to check out her blog. So I had read her blog, and unfortunately it gave me insight to her and made me like her a little bit more. And I was like, no. It definitely made her more likable. As Stephanie has been saying, there's something else going on that we don't know that production's doing to create this and to keep kind of, Aviva out of the vacations and traveling. And she's talking about Asthma-gate. And how, like you said, with Sonia next week, she's going to get into that more. It
is in the talks that they're all getting fired. It's not for sure yet, obviously, but they are. Some of the rumors are saying that if they were going to keep anybody, they would keep Aviva and Ramona. It just
what?
I you know
really
how many?
Think Aviva's got,
If you Google it, there's like 500 different things that people are saying.
Over.
But I am really
the only
interested
reason
in
I think they keep Aviva is because she's actually got other family members that are also, reoccurring casts and stuff like that. I mean, her dad and everything. Yeah, so that's the only reason I could think. Yeah. Because surely she's caused some sort of havoc with them production.
I want to know what you guys think. Do you really think that anybody's going to be fired? And who do you think would be fired? And do you think Ramona would ever be fired? I don't think she'd ever be fired.
Will we have another New York Housewives season? Or is this it?
Ratings are very low, but I can't imagine them canceling it altogether. They'd have to really.
They did that for DC.
Yeah, well,
DC
that sucked.
Yeah, I didn't even watch
No,
that
but it was all the controversy with the White House.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
why.
that I know.
It got full on.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about the little whatever wherever they
Karaoke?
are, this karaoke,
Oh,
or
that's
if it's like a
something singing.
party or something where they're all singing?
okay.
And Luann's
Luann.
not gonna
I mean,
sing
how many times Ramona say that she
'cause-
can't sing?
Yeah.
There's no auto tune going on.
It's true though. Have you ever heard the song?
Yeah.
It's like total auto
What was it? What's the song called?
Money can't
Oh,
buy
yeah.
you class.
Yeah.
Elegance is
Yeah.
learned, my friends.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah. Lyndsey's like, yeah,
Interesting
keep
song,
going.
yeah.
Don't keep going. Okay.
No,
Don't worry.
I
I'm
like
done.
you singing it.
Okay. Here we go. Here we go. No, I'm just kidding. All right.
I think Harry and Sonia, I think we're going to see a relationship. They're going to bring it out to the end of the season. There's going to something that's going to develop a little bit more again between the two of them.
Yeah. Well, I guess, what do we have, 3 more episodes?
It seems like we should have 3 more episodes.
Yeah,
for
the
reunion.
last Tuesday of July, the 29th is the first reunion.
Okay, great. So we're almost there. We're almost there, people. Hang tight, hang tight. It's going to be good. We're
The
going to end on a
drama's gonna
bang.
come.
Reunion's just going to boom.
Boom.
It's all going to explode
All right.
right then and there.
Well, you can find me at Miss Ashley Daniels on Twitter and Instagram. And where can we find my lovely ladies?
You can find me, guys, on Twitter at host McGrath and on YouTube at host Stephanie McGrath.
And you guys can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Lyndsey Wegner or my blog, lindseywegner.blogspot.com.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Night, guys.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.